Hmm. Hello, goblins. It's Chris, Eldritch Pipes. It's an episode of this week's Pipes. And other things. What have I been up to? What am I doing? What am I thinking? I'm smoking. I know that much. Some HH Acadian Perique. It's a bit earthy. It's a little tiny bit sweet. And it's quite incensey. In a sort of frankincense kind of way. It's a good smoke. Right. What have I been up to? Today I was 10-pin bowling with the boy and the girl. I don't talk about the girl very often. She doesn't live at home anymore. She's recently bought a house with her chap. But we were all 10-pin bowling today because the boy's on... This is the last day of the boys' half-term holidays. Well, Easter holidays. And it was great. Got thrashed by Jack, which is the girl's partner. Thanks, Jack. I mean, he really trounced all of us, like doubled the highest any of us had scored, the rest of us. And but it was really good. Charlotte, the girl, is one of the funniest people I've ever met. She makes me laugh. Anyway, I don't mind being beaten. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. I don't mind it at all. The boy had the rails put up. He did have a tendency to ditch the bowling ball into the gully, so the rails had to go up. You probably won't want me telling you that, but it's just between you and me. This week, I've been watching a programme on the BBC called Real CSI. And what's been really interesting about that is that it's in the Birmingham area, which is pretty close to us. Cases tried by the Birmingham Crown Court. And what's really interesting is that they've got quite a lot of tools to hand. You know, they've got really quite in-depth ways of pulling fingerprints that you just would not think of. They've got phone records, they've got CCTV from, inside your head. They've got a lot of stuff. And I suppose it's quite a stark difference. Do you remember I said a while back we were watching shows like Catching Serial Killers over in the States? I mean, obviously it's back in the 70s and 80s. But at that point in time, people were just hoping that the people would hand themselves in if they'd be good enough to. Because otherwise it'd be really hard to catch them and to prove anything. Whereas now, having the suspect confess is more or less irrelevant. We have facts, we have evidence, and that's what you really need. So if you got access to the iPlayer or BBC, I strongly recommend it. It's something like Real CSI. If you type in forensics, it'll come up. Really good. An album I've been listening to recently, I just discovered it a band called Faytooth. They just got their debut album out. It's called Remnants of the Vessel. And if you like your doom, this is really doomy, but it's also a little different. And I highly recommend it. So that's Faytooth, Remnants of the Vessel. It's really, I've been playing it nearly every day at the moment. Love it. As well as playing, did I mention that I was playing Elite last week? I think I might have. But man, I've really gotten into it. I'm playing it every day at the moment. I first came across Elite like back in the 80s. And a friend of mine had a BBC, not even the Acorn, which was more affordable, but actual a BBC, and had Elite on it. Back then it was all just line art. 3D, but line art. But still, it was like, blew my mind. And playing it now is just a real joy. It is more or less the same game, but just with much better graphics. Yeah. Alright. Let's show you some pipes. So this week, I just made 2 pipes because Monday I didn't work. And Friday I only had half a day. So rather than try and push it and make 3, I just made 2. But they were more involved pipes. These are not available. They both have owners. And they're good representations of what I do, because these are pipes that you'll have seen before. Just current renditions of. This is the Mandor Route. This is the slimline version. The original version used to be really chunky thing, and really chunky shank bit and quite a fat stem as well. Just all round chunky. Almost all the elements of that pipe made it into this pipe, but everything has been sort of refined in it. And I don't know which I prefer. Maybe they're just different. The stem work is more involved on this version than on the other version, just because I had an idea to elevate it a bit. But so there you go. It's obviously got this like stylized linear rustication for the bark. It twists around. In this light, it's somewhat hard to tell, but it's a cordovan stain with a light contrast green. It is there though, trust me. And this version I did with an olive stem, with olive Cumberland. Continuing the twisty theme. And the rim treatment, which it struck me looked almost mushroom-like, actually. The underside of a mushroom. Which is fine. Oh, you can see the green better in that angle. There you go. The green is like a ring of contrast. There you go. A Mandor Route. Mm-hmm. When I've been doing STEM work this week, I was listening to the second book in the Empire of the Vampire series, which is Empire of the Damned, and I'm now careering towards the end of that book. Things are really hotting up. Huge battle between the North folk, who are these like pagan folk. They call them dusk dancers. They can shift into animal forms, and they're fighting the Voss, a particular brand of one of the 5 vampire strains, and the Voss just have like incredible strength, just like inhuman strength. The other vampires are strong, but like a Voss will crush. What am I talking about? It's not the Voss, it's the Divok. Sorry. It's because the Voss have just entered the battle from the other side. I'm thinking Voss. The Divok are the strength. The Voss are like, have skin like stone. Hard to pierce. It's all just kicking off. And yeah, another Brothers of the Yellow Sign cultist pipe. I did one of these 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I think. It's funny how they come along in pairs. So the physical design, in other words, the kind of, I can't call it rustication, the surface shaping, let's call it surface shaping, is sort of designed to represent like folds of cloth, because you never see the face of the King in Yellow because his face is covered by a yellow veil. And then, of course, he wears a gold crown. So the room is carved into a crown, and it is gold leafed. For obvious reasons, then, it's paired with yellow Cumberland. That's a nice swirly piece. And then just sandblasted for texture. Which is really nice because then the sandblast texture comes through on the gold leaf as well. Which I think is kind of cool. There you go. King in Yellow. Well, Brothers of the Yellow Sign. Who worship the King in Yellow. All right. That's it from me. Oh, yeah, I wanted to leave you with one thought. Something the boy told me that made me laugh because it was something that had made him laugh. Someone in his school, in one of the toilet cubicles, had written, "Question everything." And underneath it, someone else had written in a different pen, "Why?" Genius. All right, that's it from me. I will see you next week, all being well. So until then, take it very easy. Your loyal pipe maker.